Dodie Horton from Haughton, state representative and on the House Ways and Means Committee. I came in this morning. First thing Erin says is I hear her story. It's come that like negotiations have come to the term screeching halt. Is that legit? What happened? What can you tell us?
Well, there was one instrument that Ways and Means was going to let out, and it had a lot of things about cleaning the pennies and leaving a fourth of the penny, the sales tax in there, as far as maybe helping tops. But there was a lot of things in there. Personally, I did not. Some I could vote for, some I couldn't. But we just felt if we could get it out of the committee and let the body as a whole have an instrument to work with, that was the only thing that was palatable. Everything else wants to take away money from, especially the middle class, with re-implementing the STELI, cutting the amount of itemized deductions people can deduct from their taxes. And so, but when we amended that bill, that would tie all of our reform measures to the passing of that bill, that's when it came to a halt.
Now, the penny sales tax rolls off the books. It ends the 1st of July. But yes. I know in your committee, the Ways and Means, there's a lot of discussion about maybe a quarter penny, maybe. What's the latest with that, and to what would that quarter penny or whatever monies you might decide on be allocated? Well,
there's the fourth of a penny that was in that particular bill. It has no allocations. There's no promise that if my district, who, of course, I haven't voted for any new taxes because I know all we have to do is live within our means and we would be out of this mess. But since that's not the mindset here, I just don't. I just wouldn't consider even keeping a fourth of a penny because there is no guarantee of where it will go. It would go into the general fund and then it'd be appropriated as the governor sees fit. So it's difficult. But when those reform measures that are very important to my district, Medicaid reform, work requirements, copay, eligibility requirements, and putting a cap on the spending limits of the government, adopting the Louisiana checkbook, similar to Ohio, where you can track every dollar that is spent. Those were the reforms that were amended onto this bill.
Let me ask you, Dodie, you're sitting in the House Ways and Means. Take us inside that room. I know we can watch it, but most of us don't have time. Did it get testy? Did it get loud? Did it get
rancorous?
No, it didn't. When a member objected, and he did so feeling that because he didn't like the reform measures being placed on that bill and being tied to the passage of that piece of legislation, because without the reform being tied to it, it had no chance of going anywhere. And so he didn't like that. He didn't like being forced to, accept that amendment. So that's why he made a motion to voluntarily defer it, which means, the author can bring it back up another day. Now, the author could have pushed a vote, but he decided to pull it so the governor could go back and talk to his people and let it be heard another day.
Were there any tax reform measures that Dodie Horton saw that she could support? Can you tell us what they are?
No, ma'am.
Not one?
Not one. Because I called a couple. The husband is a teacher in Bossier Parish, and the wife works in the dental field. I asked them how their paychecks look since we've had the greatest tax reform federally that in my lifetime I've ever seen. And she was thrilled to say that her husband was able to quit his part-time job and that she brings home enough money that it helps pay for her girls' extra curricular activities, and just thrilled about it. These measures, if passed, would rob them of that. It would take them that away. And for what? To throw more hard-earned dollars after bad policy, an antiquated system in a state that refuses to live within its means. I would never do that.
I'm sort of on the same page with you and a lot of other Republicans on this issue. I mean, John Bell, the governor, keeps jumping up and down, so to speak, saying you guys are just no. Well, I'm not sure that's the worst thing in the world. Are you?
Thankfully, we have stopped a lot of these bad things from coming out of Ways and Means now this is in our third year, because if we hadn't, the Stelly brackets would have been re-implemented. To me, which is the most unfair tax on the middle class that you can get. It puts all the burden on anyone that makes anywhere from $35,000 a year to $100,000 a year. And when Jindal repealed it, because of the public outcry was so great, the thing that they did, the legislature and the governor at that time failed to do, was cut the budget the equal amount that the Stelly brought in, which is about $800 million. If they'd have done that, it would have helped where we're at right now.
Dodie, you're just wading into the shallow end of the pool here. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is a waste of time, this special session?
It appears to be, Erin. And it's a simple thing. Is if we would take the budget and prioritize it and shrink it to where we are living within our means. I mean, what is the role of government? We are a republic, not a democracy, which is, as you know, we have a set of laws that we live by, but it gives the power and the freedom to the people. And so when we live, we just have to restructure our the way we do things here. But the role of government is too large, and it must shrink. I mean, we're losing citizens. I hear at a rapid rate, but yet we're spending more money every year for serving less people. It just doesn't equate in my mind.